Let's review together the story of Jesus heals the blind man from birth. It's a long story, so I'm going to click through a lot of it. I don't want to spend a lot of time, but this man born blind. I mean, that means he really can't do anything. Jesus came across him, and do you remember the question the disciples had that showed they didn't really understand how things worked? What did they ask? They asked, so whose fault is it, right? Who sinned? Because they thought that if something went wrong in this life, there was always it was because of some sin that happened in this world. They didn't quite understand that. And what did Jesus answer? Did he say it was the blind man's fault or the sin of his parents? What did he say? Trick question. He said it was neither one, but so that God's glory could be given. And so Jesus went on to talk about how they have to work and he's the light of the world. And then he went over to the man. Do you remember how he healed the blind man? He didn't just say the words, but he made something. He made something with his saliva, his spit. He made some mud, yeah, and he put it on his eyes. And you remember what he told the man to do? He told the man to go and wash. Yeah, he made the mud, and then he told him to wash, and he did, and he was healed. He was healed. It was amazing. He went home, and everybody was amazed at it. Oh, man, it's amazing, awesome. And he was just being a witness, telling what had happened. But who heard about it that didn't like it? You remember? Who heard about it? It was the Pharisees. The Pharisees that came. They didn't like it because you remember what day Jesus had done the healing on? It's a special word it starts with an S. It's the Sabbath day. And the Pharisees had made all these extra rules about it. And they were upset with Jesus and claimed he was a sinner because he was breaking their rules. Well, they questioned this man, and the man gave all kinds of answers about who he was, and they called in his parents, and they talked about it. And the parents didn't want to answer because they were afraid of getting in trouble, so they came back to the blind man, and they wanted the blind man to not tell the truth. But he said what he knew, that he was blind and now he could see. Do you remember after all this questioning what they eventually did to the blind man? Remember what they did? Yeah, they threw him out. That's what they did. They threw him out after all this conversation because they didn't want to believe that Jesus was the Messiah. But Jesus found him. And now do you remember what Jesus asked him about? He asked him if he knew who the Son of Man was. Did you believe in him? And he didn't know. And who did Jesus say the Son of Man was? He said it was him, right? And then what was the response of this man who had been born blind but now was healed? What did he do? He worshiped. He believed, he worshiped, got all excited. And then Jesus talked about how the spiritually blind are made to see by Jesus' power. And we're all by nature spiritually blind. But if you think you can spiritually see, you're going to be left in the dark. In fact, who overheard Jesus that was kind of upset about this? It was, some other Pharisee heard this and like, are you saying we're blind? And Jesus lets them know, if you claim that you can spiritually see, then you're going to be out. But if you recognize your blindness, Jesus would be happy to come and heal you. So that's the account of Jesus heals the blind man. Thanks for reviewing it with me.